Namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Umesh Rathod, and I'll be taking you through the experience of shades of perspectives for building Bharat's mindset. So, when you look at Bharat's journey through different lenses, if you observe it, what do you observe? You don't see the changes happening in landscape, but the changes happening within the perspective, right? A village student who is building drone using scrap material, a woman founder who is pitching her agritech idea with flawless Marathi or the mother tongue, and some students coming together and building some kind of a prototype. Faculty who has 25 years of experience getting into an innovation workshop, different shades, different perspectives, right? And I begin to wonder if Viksit Bharat 2047 will be built based only on policies or funding. I think neither of these can only support it. There's something much larger, much important, which is going at the backdrop. So, what will be the important aspect when you talk about having more fundamental thing which will push the envelope of Viksit Bharat 2047? In my earlier talks, I talked about from startup nation to unicorn nation, which talked about aspiration and the scale lens. The other talk, which talked about unlocking true potential of academia, focused on how institutions or academic bodies can become catalyst of change. But today, I want to go one layer deeper, because I believe beneath the startups and academia, beneath the institutions and the policies, lies something larger which we need to focus on. And in that sense, it is the collective mindset. The collective mindset of 1.4 billion people, how we think, learn, and execute things. In Sanskrit, there is a famous quote, Yatha drishti tatha srishti. As is our vision, so is the world around us. Or I can say, as is our perspective, so is the world we create around us. In Vedic tradition, universe is not something which is outside. It is within us. It is what we co-create with our thoughts, with our intentions, and our mindset. So, our inner world becomes our outer world. That is the heart of today's idea. Shades of Bharat, building Bharat's mindset. Now you will ask me why mindset matters. There are various nations who have struggled or pivoted their country using two main levers, that is technology and policy. And we can see that in recent times, what's happening in the West. Now, when we look at that, obviously they are important, but the history shows us something very important. Countries that change mindset before they leaped into the specific industry have grown bigger, have leaped ahead. For example, Japan, just after World War II, they shifted from defeat to discipline. Let's look at South Korea. They went from survival to global ambition. When we talk about Singapore, they went from scarcity to strategic clarity. And there are many such examples with us. So what is India's mindset? What is Bharat's mindset today? We are a nation of 1.4 billion people. 65% of population is below 35. 50% population is below 25. Right? 1.8 lakh startups registered. Around 1,200 incubation centers across the country. What does it say? Along with this, we have Asian knowledge sitting right next to the cutting edge technologies. Yet many of us still are living in the survival mindset. Risk mat lo, galti mat karo, fail ho jaoge. A 21st century country cannot be built with 20th century mindset. And so the question becomes, what kind of mindset the Bharat needs today? Let us look at the shades of different Bharat, which are shaping us and as we speak. Bharat is not one color. It is a palette of colors. And each shade teaches us something very important. As it's said in Hindi, har rang kuch kehta hai. The cultural shade of wisdom and clarity and curiosity. You walk into a traditional Indian home, right? And you see contradiction. Our tradition asks us to question the universe, but we cannot question our elders. The society stops us from doing it. And our, Indic mindset truly says that you have been rooted in inquiry. You have to, question everything. Now, when you talk about Aryabhatta and the Upanishads, everything has been coming from this great nation. It has been created from this great nation. We are the world's original research scholars. If we bring back that thought process of questioning, deep questioning, I think we will build a generation that doesn't just, learn, but questions how to learn, right? Then comes a generational shade that is from security to purpose. Let's see the hands. How many students want to build a startup and not exactly want to work for some company? Right? Quite a few. So the Indian youth is now focusing on becoming a job creator rather than taking a job. They dream of a journey. They dream of impact. They dream of creation and meaning. I've seen engineering students building startups with zero funds but limitless conviction, right? And I've seen defense veterans at the age of 45 building their defense startups. I've seen young Indian women leading innovation councils within academia, which are shaking the institutions. This is a generational shift from security to purpose, from obedience to ownership, from acceptance to aspiration. This shift is priceless. It is rooted into nation building. Now, next one is the aspirational shade, which is rise of the creator mindset. For several years, we have been the consumers of the content, consumers of the products, technologies, but now the creator mindset is emerging. A boy from Satara built an AI chatbot without having English fluency. A group of girls from Raigad built rainfall prediction model by learning from YouTube tutorials. A rural innovator built a turbine using scrap materials from the motorcycle. What does this say? This say that Bharat is rising not from the metros, but from the places which have been left behind for ages. Aspirations are no longer urban. They are being developed across and they are universal in nature. Then comes the institutional shade. Academia as a launchpad, and we are sitting here, right here in an academic institution. For many ages, academia has been acting as an institution for providing degrees, a factory of degrees. That is evolving. Today, faculties are learning venture design. Students are filing patents. Institutions are running incubation centers. And startups pitching is happening within the classroom to investors. The shift from syllabus learning to solution building is one of the most important shifts which has happened over the last decade. And this powerful mindset changes in modern India. The global shade, which talks about, think local, lead global. There was a time when Indian innovation meant jugaad fixes. Today's Bharat problem are global challenges. You talk about agriculture, you talk about climate, mobility, healthcare. These are global issues. And Bharat's mindset is shift from how do we catch up to how we can lead. This is a shade which world is now noticing. But there's a problem. Our mindset is unevenly evolving. When you talk about certain districts, they are moving faster. Others are trying to cope up. When you talk about innovations, some are innovating, some are stagnated. When you talk about some families, they are ready to take risk. Some are fearing it. Our nation is in a transition. Some places, it's talking about Viksit Bharat 2047, and some are living in India 1987. At the bridge of these two, it cannot be filled by only policies or funds. There has to be mindset literacy. Teaching every Indian not how to think, but what to think. 3 mindset shifts are required right now. One, from Jugaad to design thinking. Jugaad is creative, but it's also limiting, right? It solves today's problem, but it's not looking at the possibility for tomorrow. We need a shift to structured innovation to build solutions which are scalable, sustainable, and global in nature. From competition to collaboration, right? When institutions collaborate, ecosystems emerge. When startups collaborate, industries are born. When individuals collaborate, communities evolve, right? So Bharat must move from mera idea to hamara impact. Then from fear of failure to curiosity of experimentation. Innovation does not exist where there is fear, right? Fear of judgment, fear of risk, fear of failure, and सबसे important चीज, लोग क्या कहेंगे mindset. True mindset shifts begin when your failure becomes data, experiments become normal, and progress becomes personal in nature. Building Bharat's mindset, the way forward could be making every institution a micro innovation hub, not some fancy lab, but a place where students design, prototype, problem solve, and pivot and pitch their ideas. Make every teacher a mindset creator, an architect which focuses not just on delivery of curriculum, but delivering curiosity in their classrooms. Third, make every citizen a co-creator in building communities. Right? When people stop waiting for things to happen, they take onus onto them, is when they start building solutions and shaping them. And last but not the least, blending ancient wisdom with the modern innovation. Look at the thing, yoga we have given to world, it's for free. Look at Ayurveda, Arthashastra, Upanishads. We are sitting on century-old cognitive sciences, strategies, systems thinking. What if we collaborated with AI, blockchain, and quantum technologies? We'll be a nation thinking centuries ahead, not just few quarters. If I could summarize this talk in one line, it would be, nations are not built by hands and machineries. Nations are built by mindset. Policies give direction, technology gives power, and mindset gives meaning to it. And so to transform, Bharat, the ideas will not come from the West, neither from the metro cities, but from classrooms in Nashik, from tier 2, tier 3 cities like Ahilyanagar or innovation cells, in villages. And importantly, the conversations like this, where we are shifting our perspective, because when perspective change, mindsets are created, mindsets change, right? So it's really important, when mindset change, nations rise. Let us build a Bharat which thinks boldly, acts bravely, and collaborates generously. A Bharat that is not defined by one shade, but a beautiful spectrum of perspectives that makes us who we are. As it said in Panchatantra, Uddhamena siddhanti karanina manorathe, nahi suptasya sivasya praveshanti mukhe mruga. Thank you so much, guys. This is Umesh Rathod, founder Lean Campus Startups. Namaskar. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.